All right, so we're live. I like your hat, Abalo, by the way.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing.
It's quite, it's quite cool, It's quite cool, really. It's quite cool.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, it's the first time you have someone so cool like this. I like that. I like that. All right. So, hello, everyone watching. Hello, everyone there online. Thank you, Daniel, as usual, my colleague, my co host. Together, we're hosting this. So, today we're going to have a very interesting session. Honestly, I've been looking, to this for a long time. I wanted to have, a deep and meaningful discussion about the changes we're going to have, with the upcoming PMBOK. So when I looked at all of my contacts, I thought Abelo, together with Daniel and I, will be the right people, to talk about what's coming with the PMBOK 8, what kind of changes the whole community of project management should expect, in the PMP exam, because many people, Abelo, think that, if the PMBOK is changing. Now, let's suppose PMI will announce the PMBOK in Phoenix in a few days from now, okay? And I think in 10 days or a couple of weeks from now, there will be this, this huge summit in which they will announce the updates, the news, and I think they will talk about the PMBOK. Definitely, they will mention that. And I think many people think that right when the PMBOK will be released, it means the PMP exam will be updated, which is not the case. Okay, and Abalu, you and I, we know each other for nearly 15 years, maybe more. Okay, we used to both work at IBM in the Czech Republic in Brno. And I think we went through this different with different versions of the PMBOK. We started with PMBOK 3, if you remember, Abalo, then PMBOK 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, now 8. Quite an interesting experience we have. And I can tell people it's not like, it's not confirmed or it's not immediate when we have a new PMBOK. Then we will have a PMP exam update. Actually, PMBOK and ECO, ECO is the exam content outline for whatever exam PMI offers. They don't immediately change like both at the same time. So it's like in the current version, ECO was released in January 2021 and PMBOK 7 in July 2021. But before it was PMBOK, then ECO. Only this time it was ECO, then PMBOK. Okay. So I think many people want to know the updates. We have shared. You have shared, Abalo. I have shared. Few other people have shared what's coming with the new PMBOK 8. And many people are saying, are we going back to PMBOK 6, but just, with some tweaks in the process groups? Is it really continuity, of the mindset in the PMBOK 7? Many people are so curious. So we really definitely want to, have a very interesting, meaningful discussion about this, so people can get the right information from us, and we can enlighten them on what they can expect, what they need to do in the next period, maybe a few months, and how they can prepare for the change. So I'll let you have the stage, Abalo, just to share, a bit of an overview about what's coming before we go into detailed discussion.
Yes. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Daniel.
Nice to meet you.
Good afternoon, good evening to all of you watching. And I hope this hour or hour and a half will be useful to you. And I will try my best to give you really good insight, as I said, which sometimes is not always available. So I'm not sure if Daniel wants to say something before I proceed, or at least.
No, go for it, man. I'm excited. I get tons of questions from my coaching and mentee people. Yeah. They want to know about this stuff, man. So let's get into it.
And by the way, Abalo, we did not choose the topic just randomly. Today is the International Project Management Day. To be honest, I feel so good today. I feel so glad. I think Daniel sent me maybe 2 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know what it like. This is the first time I usually feel good on this day, right? Because I live, eat, and breathe project management. But working with Ahmed is some of the things that we've been working on separately and collectively, and having you on, man, it just I just can't stop smiling all day. That's all I could say.
Yeah. Earlier, I called Daniel early in his morning. He couldn't pick up. And then he wrote me this, "Hey, I'm so happy." I said, "What's going on? Something private?" He said, "No, it's International Project Management Day."
Yeah. So happy International Project Management Days to all of you watching, right? So, Ahmed, I would like to first explain to people how PMI is processing the new publication, or at least what is the process, right?
Yeah.
The reason I am in love with PMI, it's because this is not a framework where some random people just sit there, cook something, bring it out. These are collective publication. So what is the process? Every time PMI is about to release or update any kind of publication, whether PMBOK, program management standard, or whatever, they will first call for interest, public interest, right? They will publish on the website everywhere. If you believe that you have enough experience and passion to contribute, you can then apply. So usually they will select two groups. First group that really will write the book. Second group will review the book, right? I think it's about 10-10. Usually they are selecting 10 people that will focus in collecting all the ideas and putting all the ideas together. And then once they finish, then there is a second group that also is about 10 people who will then review the book. Once they finish, this is not done. PMI will publish this draft to all people, everyone. I mean, this is public. Anyone could go there, read what is there, contribute. And by the way, if you contribute in this public draft review and you wish your name to be listed as one of the contributors, then they will add your name. So once you open any kind of PMI publication, you will see at the end, they will list there all the contributors.
Correct.
So this is a very, I mean, you can't be any transparent than that, right?
Yeah.
So once this is done, once the first publication, first public review, the draft version review is done, of course, they take all the comments and critics, or whatever they got as feedback. And I was surprised how serious they take this, because if you make meaningful comment, this will be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And then they will announce the new publication. So what I mean here is anyone really passionate or involved in project management, the PMBOK 8 guide that is coming shouldn't be any surprise, because we already seen the content. Yes, there will be some minor changes due to feedback people have given and so on, but probably this is around 10-15% of the content. The majority of the content won't change. So this is the process. So you watching, if you are interested in contributing, you are more than welcome. PMI loves the idea to have even people from different professional, different industry, different experience, because that's what makes PMP exam, for example, I would say one of the best, even though it can be improved in other ways because it's a lot theoretical, yes, which is okay, but I think there will come some improvement, right? So that makes the exam and even the content much more comprehensive. So this is the first thing I wanted to explain the process. If you don't know, now you know, right?
Yeah.
Then secondly, I would say we could look back. I would like to talk about the history, right? History of this publication. The first publication was released in 1995, which was called PMBOK. PMBOK, just simple. And by the way, yes, by the way, I'm always telling people, right? Most of the students I'm instructing, sometimes you hear people complaining like, oh, I'm working in this organization and I'm the only one certified, no one else understands what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Look, that's okay. That's fine, I understand. But you should be even proud and happy to be the person who's upfront, so you can enlighten the others. PMI itself has been created by a group of friends, just like we are here on this podcast in 1969, probably before, they met before, right? They met way before, discussed like, okay, what are the challenges and so on. So it took them almost more than a decade to come up with a structured ideas like, let's create something where we get together, and then, this is how PMI itself has been founded. And then later on, as you know, once you create a product, there are improvement iterations and many things that comes on, and then things, as we say in French, the appetite start coming up once you start eating, right? So then it went like that. So by the way, this is people creation, people passionate about project management, and then they try till now, they try to keep the tradition. Last year in Los Angeles, Pierre Lemar was sharing this story before the founding father of PMI passed away. He had a meeting with him, and he asked him like what they should focus on. And he told them like they should try to make sure PMI remains the first, or at least one of the key institutions that really work in project management science, right? So I believe that the top leadership will be working on that and making sure they, So then from 1995, they start releasing the PMBOK edition. Then each 4 years, they start releasing one book, right? Each 4 years.
Yeah.
Ahmed and I, we passed our PMP in 2012, or at least I started preparing with PMBOK 4th edition. And trust me, anyone that has PMBOK 4th edition today and study that book, goes to PMP exam, he has high chance to pass. Because in fact, not much has changed since, right? So from the PMBOK 1st edition till the 6th edition, usually what has changed was adding processes, removing processes, adding knowledge areas, removing them. Ahmed, you and I, when we passed the PMP, there were human resource knowledge area. Then that one it disappeared and it became resource management, and so on. And keep adding the processes and optimizing, because they, PMI listen to what is happening on the ground. It's not a book which, I don't know, some fairy tale, right? They are consulting professionals, and this is written by professionals. Then what I'm about to say, it's purely my own imagination or my own conclusion, right? Because I remember before I start taking the PMP exam, and all this stuff, even before I moved, because I am a technical guy, I didn't start my career as a project manager. I'm a software developer before making the transition. So I remember when I was making the transition, everyone was saying like, yeah, don't study PMP, that's old school. You should be studying agile stuff and stuff like that, right? So we hear that, this kind of stuff. PMP is old school. Study, I think there is still echo coming. Hopefully it's not disturbing. Maybe you guys should mute yourself for a while so we don't disturb people's ears. Right. So I know it's coming from me. Once I finish speaking, I'll mute myself.
No, it's okay. There is no noise from your side. No noise from your side.
Yeah. So I hear stories like, PMP is old school. You should study Agile. And of course, if you look at the Agile framework like Scrum, it was released in 2000. So by 10 years later, whatever framework, this framework started taking over somehow, right? Everyone was about Agile. And I believe, I don't know, this has nothing to do with PMI. This is my personal opinion. I believe that PMI got scared, and then the panic, just like anyone else. When you start seeing competition, you can't just sleep. You need to do something, right? Then I believe that they were trying to react to such kind of comment, which many people were really making, right? Especially in the IT world. I'm from IT world. Everyone was, forget PMP. This is like waterfall, traditional, all these naming convention that came out. And then they react by releasing what? The Agile Practice Guide, right? So they react.
That's version 1. Version 2 already, I think already released or soon released.
Yes. They react and releasing Agile Practice Guide and say like, hey, we at PMI, we also do Agile framework. We are not only waterfall, right? Yeah. And then they release the book and follow with a certification called PMI ACP, right? So this came at the same time in 2017, I think. I don't have the date exactly, but around that, right? So they released PMBOK 8 in 2016. 1 year later, they released the Agile Practice Guide, which is not the usual cycle. The usual cycle was 4 years, right? Then, as they released the Agile Practice Guide, that's the moment they realized they fucked up, right? This kind of sound online, right? I think someone they just realized that something was not correct, or at least it started to split ideas. It started to split people. The community was split: agile or not agile, agile or not agile, and they have to react and release the PMBOK 7. And in PMBOK 7, I think the philosophy, I'm not involved in this. However, this is my own interpretation as someone who's really passionate and following PMI since then. The PMBOK 7, why the volume? In fact, there was many other stuff where people were complaining like, yeah, this PMBOK is too huge. You remember I meant it's like 900 pages. When you want to start PMP, everyone was scaring you like, oh, that book is like 900 pages, man, right? Yeah, so I think this kind of feedback was speaking to them. As an organization, you can't just sit and watch, right? So they came up with the PMBOK 7, where in fact they tried to redescribe and explain to the world what project management really is, because it's not about agile or predictive. They said, if you want to be successful, you need to have certain principles. So probably inspiration comes from the Scrum and Agile manifesto, where they have 4 values, 12 principles, right, to be successful and so on. So I believe that the inspiration comes from there. I don't know if you know Zolt. Zolt also worked with us in IBM. He was the one leading the PMBOK 7 edition guide. Zolt, for example, he's not PMP certified, he's Prince2 certified. And I think a lot of influence comes from this kind of knowledge, because even now, like Prince2 also is going in that direction. Everyone start to understand that project management is not really about the tools and all these bling stuff. It's really your capacity of leading people, right? If you are not nice to people, when you will need them to work, they will not work. It is simple as that. So they have to reframe all these principles, saying like, okay, now, if you want to be successful, there are 12 principles you have to follow. There are also performance domain, and then they write the book in this way. So hoping that then people get lost, right? And in 2021, the reason they released the examination content outline, they wanted to change the exam, not to follow the traditional initiation, planning, execution, and closing. They wanted to reframe the exam to fit with talent triangle, right? So it means this is when we start having exam questions like people, processes, and business acumen. Because for you to be certified project management professional, you need to have you need to be able to work in different ways. You need to be able to understand project management processes, and then you need to understand that business or project are being operated in certain business environment. So, that it makes sense. This is how the new ECO came out. Now people get lost. Which book should I use to prepare for my exam? Is it agile? Is it predictive? Is it whatever? PMI itself is saying if you go for PMP exam, nowadays it's like 50% questions are on predictive project management, 50% on agile or adaptive project management. Then they have to do something about it, because you remember people were complaining about the number of pages they have to read. And then on top of PMBOK 6, they have added a book of 200 pages. Then they have added another book of, 300 pages. Then it's like, oh shit, sorry for my language. Oh, damn, it's no longer 900 pages, but it's even more. Then I think they reacted and releasing this one, right?
The process guide.
Yes. Yes. So if you see this book, actually, nothing literally changes.
No.
Because the PMBOK 6, when you take the 49 processes, was written horizontally, right?
Yeah.
They take the knowledge area, they describe it till the end, they take the next one till the end. And then in the second phase of the project, the PMBOK 6, they describe the processes vertically. So in this process guide, they remove the whole horizontal way of describing processes and even remove some very useful information and release this book, hoping that now if you are preparing for PMP, you will read these 3 books, right? So this is what now students are doing. You have to read these 3 books, but it still make up 900 pages somehow, right? So this is it. And I believe that by releasing the PMBOK 8, there are, I think Pierre Lemon also emphasized on this. It's not about going back to the way they used to be, but even though I believe this is, they want to bring everything back the way it is, plus some more modifications. So what is coming up in the PMBOK 8, you should know that PMBOK itself is always in 2 parties. The first part was always about standard for project management, which is tightly, which is tied to American NC standard, right? So now PMI has separated that. So there will be a new small publication called Standard for Project Management. In this standard will be more about principles and performance domains and so on, what any project management professional should know in order to be successful. And then in the PMBOK 8, they will focus more on how it is, of course, agile principles and agile way of working and predictive environment or predictive way of working with the processes which are back. Because one of the complaints people have is like, inside the PMBOK 7, there are no processes. Where do we find processes, right? So before they release this orange book, people have to go back to the PMBOK 6 to see the processes. Now, probably with PMBOK 8, you do not need to go back anywhere to see the processes. Within one book, you have almost all the content. And if you want to deepen your knowledge in Agile project management, you go to Agile Practice Guide, which, by the way, there is a new version coming out, or it's come out, I don't know. There is a new version of this book. And most likely there will be a new version of this book as well, because
are they keeping, do you think they're keeping the process guide? Shouldn't they get rid of it since the PMBOK 8 will contain the process table?
Well, I don't know. But I won't be surprised if they scrap it, because if the way the processes have been described in the PMBOK 8 is not very detailed. So I don't know if they intend to detail deeply the processes. Probably they will have to keep this one so that people go here to learn deeper processes and they go to Agile Practice Guide to learn deep. But I don't know. These are few of my questions I have when I will meet, the people in charge, ask few questions like what is the next. But usually PMI people are quite transparent. They are not hiding much stuff, except things around the exam, right? So they are quite transparent about that. Yeah, so this is really what happened since then. And what is coming in PMBOK 8 is usually, again, optimization. First optimization is knowledge, right? The knowledge optimization. So if you study PMP so far, you should know that we have 10 knowledge areas. So the knowledge areas will be renamed performance domain, which makes sense. They could keep it knowledge area or call it performance domain because it goes how? It goes with principles, right? Principles are your behavior. How do we know you are a good project manager? By measuring your performance. So this is how the name comes out, right? So it could stay knowledge area and it will not kill anyone, right? But they want to call it performance domain, so be it.
Because of the PMBOK 7, they use the word performance domain, the 8 performance domains. It was quite a struggle for every PMP trainer, like you and me, old people, like Daniel, old people. Now we used to be, we were used to knowledge area. It took us some time to get used to, principle and performance domain. Now we're used to that. So they're keeping performance domain, not going back to knowledge area. But on the other side, for example, they have this change. No more process groups is focus areas, for example, now.
Exactly, yes. In fact, I used to tell my students, forget performance. What is this performance? I said, just leave it out. It is useful. That's what I was carrying on like. And in fact, it wasn't. It was just confusing for nothing. Yeah. So
Correct.
now, and of course, as the first was renaming few things, and then secondly, they have optimized many other stuff. For example, scope management.
Yeah.
We used to have scope management and quality management has been merged, which makes sense because as a project manager, as you are out collecting your requirement, you also need to ask people what quality looks like for you, right? Usually people will tell you what they want and how they're going to measure your success. So it makes sense. Why separate them? Of course, separating them, it's also good to teach people deeply how this thing works, but putting them together doesn't make, it also makes sense. Second thing, they merge. Stakeholders and communication management knowledge area. It also makes sense. Why we need to identify stakeholders? Because we need to talk to them. We need to communicate with them. So putting it together, showing new project manager or project manager that you identify your stakeholder in order to communicate with them makes sense. So why not?
Mostly communication stakeholders, it makes sense because even the current PMP exam, the current version, I'm sorry, Daniel, we didn't have giving you the word yet. I'm sorry. Even in the current PMP exam, many questions, sometimes our students are confused in a stakeholder situation, what to pick, which one is the right answer, update the communication plan or the stakeholder engagement plan. Yes. And sometimes in a couple of questions, it's one, there is no stakeholder engagement plan, there is just communication plan, and it involves both. It englobes both, which is fine. So for me, mixing stakeholder engagement with communication, it makes sense because with stakeholders, we have meetings, we have reporting, we have information, we have engagement, and stakeholders, they're not going to do the work. They're going to engage with you. They need information, they need updates, okay? They need reporting, etc. For the scope, yes, I 100% on merging the scope with the quality, because when we say scope, when we say requirements, we have to say acceptance criteria. When we say acceptance criteria, we have to say quality. It goes all together, okay? So far, it makes sense. What else, Abalu?
Yes, absolutely. To me, it makes sense. Next thing, they have removed the procurement, which, by the way, was my nightmare when I was doing PMP. Procurement was my nightmare, right? Because in IBM, all the processes were there. I was working on internal projects. So for me, procurement was like Chinese language to me. Until I moved to a smaller company, then I start understanding, oh, okay, this is what PMI meant by, all this, right? So now, and in fact, as we see, many project managers don't deal with procurement because usually structured companies have the procurement department, which then oversees all the purchases and contract administration within a company. So now PMI has put procurement into annex, right? It's not in the main focus areas. It is now into the annex, right? With AI and stuff like that. So if you remove,
they added governance. Now governance is there.
Yes. That's what's going to be my point. Governance has always been there, but only silent, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you talk about change management, what are the change cycle? First, submit the change, analyze the impact, and give it to the CCB steering committee to approve. So governance has always been there. Only they have never made it so visible. Now they made the governance quite visible in a part of the process. It could also remain silent and no one will die, right? It's all makes sense. So these are the structural changes. And then when you cross, so we go from, let's say, old 10 knowledge areas to 7, right? And then we keep the process group like the same: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So when you do the cross, now we have 40 processes. So we go from 49 processes to 40 processes with this kind of cross, because some processes have been also optimized. And of course, those one, so this is really the big changes. They remove the standard, like the first part standard for project management aside as a separate book, and then PMBOK. Probably, I think the reason they remove that part is they need to keep in mind the size of the pages. I believe this is.
I can give you the sizes. I can give you the sizes. The PMBOK 6 was 793 pages, 900-ish, including the Agile guide, because they were bundled together. PMBOK 7 was 370 pages. PMBOK 8 416.
Yeah, when you say 700 pages, it means you are not counting all these blah blah pages, right? That's like pure reading books. If you will count all the
no, the guide 523 pages. Just the guide in PMBOK 6, 523.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So these are the changes. As an ATP, we have been asked to review the new ATP PMP instructing course, right? So they prepare already the new course, which will be following the PMBOK 8. We finish review around September, probably. And the timeline is to release this new course probably somewhere in January, right? So these are things they are changing. This doesn't have immediate impact on exam. So if I want to, I can talk about the exam, or I don't know if there are any questions you are receiving so far. So
we keep the questions. We keep Daniel is in control of this, and we usually keep the questions for the last 15-20 minutes. So Daniel is very good with this.
Okay, awesome. So those one wondering, what about the exam? When will the exam change and so on? One thing you need to know, PMP exam is available in 12 different languages. So the PMBOK 8, which will be released only in English. So PMI cannot change the exam until other languages are available, because then it doesn't make sense. The new exam will not be available only to English speakers. And then later on, that's why in the past, even when they release new book, it used to take them a year before they change the exam. Why? Because they need to translate all the publication and so on and so on. Now with the AI, the speed up, I asked this question openly to Pierre Lemont on his publication on LinkedIn, and he replied to me that all the languages will be available, all of them at one shot in April.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which means, yes. So now they will release them in one shot in April. So with the AI and all this, it will go faster. So my guess would be, if probably they're not going to touch the examination content outline, because the instructing course didn't change. It's still 6 lessons, right? So most likely the ECO will not change, or at least it will be optimized. As you know, in the ECO, there are redundant tasks, right? So there are tasks which are repeated. So probably they will clean it up somehow. I don't know. But it will not change massively.
Sorry, in the current ECO, there are three domains: people,
Yes,
process, business environment.
yes,
35 tasks with their
yes,
enablers. So 35 tasks, 14 tasks in people, 17 in process, 4 in business. Okay.
correct.
Now, I don't know when the new ECO will be released. I heard rumors it will be in July 2026, but it's rumors. Okay, I heard it from two different people from two different countries. They don't know each other probably, and they said it's going to be in July 2026. The new ECO. I'm not sure about that, but
Which will make sense.
I always wonder, is it going to be still three domains like the talent triangle? Are they going to do like a back roll to fit with the old ECO, the 5 domains? Remember the 5 domains we used to have? And what about the tasks themselves? Are they keeping 35 tasks? Are they changing them? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
people are thirsty for such information.
Yeah, my personal guess, I don't have any rumor yet, right? I do know some people involved in this somehow, but honestly, I haven't really asked because, like, we have so many things to, these are, I would say, arbitrary details. But I'm sure because I've seen the new upcoming course, it's still 6 lessons, how we did it, right? Like a business environment and so on
I
and so
know.
on. Only inside the content has been updated. So I believe that ECO will not change. However, I believe that tasks will be improved. As I'm saying, there are redundancies in the tasks, right? So some tasks are being intertwined somehow. Probably they will clean it up, have it separately. I'm not sure. And if someone is thinking or forecasting that ECO will change in July, I would say it is correct. It might be correct because if they will release the new publication within July, then the assumption will be like, okay, in April you have French version, Arabic version, and all these versions. Then it means from April, May, June, they have time to update the ECO and then update the exam. So, which I mean, the timeline makes sense to me,
I
right?
just need to correct something. I just need to correct something.
Yeah.
ECO's update is already in progress because the PMBOK is already done. They will announce it. They will announce it this month in Phoenix. They might release it for the PMI members either in November or yeah, I think they will release it in November to download in PDF for only PMI members. Then in January, hard copy. ECO update is in progress already, ongoing. By the time I saw Pierre's reply to your comment, by April, when they will have the other versions like the French, the Arabic, the Chinese, the first language is always Chinese. It's the most important foreign language for PMI. By April, already the ECO is ready. It's just final tweaks on the questions. Because Abalo, PMI now needs to create that bank of questions. They have a bank of questions. Usually they start with at least 7,000 to 10,000 questions in English language. They pick a percentage, like say 20% to be translated to French, 30% to Chinese, 15% to Arabic, etc. From those English language questions. And along the years, year after year, the bank of questions in English language is growing. Okay, are you with me, guys?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's growing. So it goes from 7,000, 10,000 up to 40,000 questions, almost all the types of questions, drag and drop, hotspot questions, four possible answers, 5 possible answers, and so on and so on. And then also year after year, more questions from English are translated to French, German, Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, etc. So actually, I just want to let you know this. ECO, let's say brainstorming, drafting is already ongoing, Abalu.
Yeah, it makes sense. This is pure project management. If you plan to release something in April, you are not going to wait April to start changing it, right? In fact, I have a friend who's actually part of the group reviewing the new questions, right? So they have groups traveling all over the world reviewing the material. This is the usual PMI process. Of course, the new questions are there. Like people are proposing questions, they are being qualified, requalified, and testing, retesting. And most likely, as you know, when you take PMP exam, there are always 5 questions that are not marked, right? And these 5 questions which are not marked are usually test questions PMI injecting in each candidate exam, so they get the feedback on how hard or easy could be a question. So they will measure the performance of this question. If the question is too easy, they say, nah, this is too easy. Let's strengthen it. If the question is too hard, let's say, I don't know, 1,000 candidates, probably 1 or 2 find it. They will say, okay, this is maybe too hard. Let's soften it, or, So this process is definitely going to happen. So you watching and probably preparing for the exam, don't be surprised that even from December, you will see some questions from PMBOK 8 and say, oh, I saw some question on PMBOK 8. Because yes, there will be those questions which are not marked for you, but they test to see how you react. And based on that,
it happened to us, you and I, when we took the exam in 2025, in 2012, there were 25 questions which were not marked. Remember, we used to have 200 questions on the exam, 25 marked, 25 not marked, 175 marked. And in those 25, because we took the exam in 2012, PMBOK 5 was released 2013. The new version was released 2013. So they were testing on us. Actually, I remember those questions because some of the questions I said, oh my God, this is a new. Okay, I have to know how to answer. Daniel, remember that? You took the exam
I took in October 2011 on 4 also, and I had a few questions that I was like, I've been studying for a year straight. I don't know how to answer this question. This is very different.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So even when PMP exam has been updated in 2021 on many different level or aspect. The first aspect, due to COVID, they reduced actually the test questions from 25 to 20. The exam used to be 200 questions. Now it become 180. In fact, the PMP exam itself has never changed. It has always been 175 questions. They only reduced this number of test questions they could send to a candidate to 5.
Correct.
And then add possibility to take a break, 2 breaks after each 60 questions, which I think is quite good improvement to allow people to breathe. And because, the brain needs sometimes a little break. Some people fail, not because they don't know the topic. It's just because they are simply too tired, right? So I've seen candidates like that. It's really about the tiredness and all these kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. There is an important, Daniel Abalo, this question from Ben Rawson is quite important. Actually, he's asking if PMBOK 8 will start addressing having shared resources among projects. Actually, Ben, even right now, in the current version of the PMP, we have few questions where there are shared resources among projects, and every project is urgent, and you have limited resources. What do you need to do? And sometimes they make it even more complex by saying some of the resources were pulled from your project A because the functional managers needed them, and so it's 2 situations in 1 question. So we definitely have such situations in the current PMP version. At least I have them in my training. Abalo has them definitely in his training. There are around 3 to 5 questions of such scenarios, Ben. Really good question. And I think this will continue even the next version. Abalo or Daniel, what's your take on this?
I couldn't agree more. And obviously, from my own experience, not that I'm a trainer or anything, I always view or hear people viewing it as very single project minded, but that's not how most project managers exist in most project environments. They usually have 1 or more. So although you're kind of getting into program management, although that's more aligned with, projects that are kind of similar in nature, you can have different, kind of projects like that. So to me, it's good that you're kind of testing that stuff, because that's kind of really where you start shifting in from like junior, mid-level to more of a senior project manager, where you're not working on one project all the time.
Okay.
Good question.
This question in 2 ways, right? I would say current version of the PMP or PMBOK addresses share resources. If you take schedule management module, right? You have things like resource labeling, fast tracking, crashing a project. This is basically you getting resources from other project to add to your stuff. But PMI take assumption that you are not responsible on other projects. So you have to negotiate your resources. So if they give you share resources, that's why you need to have your resource calendar, right, in place, so that you know, okay, this resource, I have him or her or it, if it is a material resource, I have it only for certain windows. So you make your schedule based on that. So I think, yeah, maybe it could be emphasized, saying like, okay, you know, you have, I mean, they could do that, but I think it's somehow talking about it already. It doesn't really specifically talk about it, but I believe that the current version, and it has always been that if you are doing your schedule management and preparing your project schedule, these are things you are really dealing with. How much I have time for these tractors? When will I use the developer? When will I need the testers? And then you adjust based on that. And sometimes they say, okay, whoop, this results disappear. You have to update your timeline. You have to update your schedule management plan. Yeah, I mean, it could be better, definitely. So my advice to you, next time PMI will publish the publication, or they are looking for people to contribute, don't be shy. Just apply.
Yeah,
you know, they like people. They like different mindset, different way of thinking. This is what makes the publication quite interesting, right? So, and as we are, you know, we are human beings. We can't think about everything all the time, right? So you make a product, then you find like, oh, I could improve it. Then you add something, and so on. So feedback are quite important. I believe that the question is good. They could talk about it more, but personally, I think it is somehow there.
Thank you. There is another question, and I think Daniel would love answer it. Would love to answer it. It's from Reshlan Pillai, and he's asking, how are we contributing to building a modern society project management leadership?
That's a really good question, right? Because obviously on this call, we're talking about the PMP or PMI or the certifications that kind of roll up underneath there. And, you know, although that teaches you, although you should have a certain amount of experience to kind of get you to the exam, of course, and you've been through a few battles and you have enough to qualify to take the exam. Certainly, at least from my own perspective, a lot of times the stuff you see on exam isn't like matched with reality. So for me, certainly, how do you kind of to build this is doing the things we're doing on this call today. 3 project managers that have 20 years experience or so. We're trying to provide the knowledge and experience that we have shared collectively, not only in project management but the certification, PMI, kind of putting all that stuff together to give it to the next generation or people coming up behind us. It's so important. Mentoring, coaching, things like that. I don't see it much as I used to maybe 10, 15 years ago, and we certainly need more of it. There are more project managers than ever, and there's going to be more than that coming up in the next few years. To me, it's my responsibility to help the next generation of project managers, and again, do things like this with Ahmed and the guests that come on the show, because at the end of the day, we can only learn from each other, right? Every country, region has different languages, versions, legal requirements, restricted. There's so many different ways to do that have nothing to do with project management. Kind of putting those two things together, that's really where you leverage your project management experience, and it's only by talking with other people that really kind of help you get to where you need to be a lot faster. If not, you're on your own, and that's certainly not a great place to be.
Yeah. Abalo, how do you expect the changes coming in the PMBOK 8? Because before I finish my question, let me put this, guys, everyone watching. Some people even told me this. We think PMI is releasing a new PMBOK every 4 to 5 years because they want to make money out of it. Well. No one doesn't. I mean, every person almost wants money. Every person needs money to survive. PMI is a huge corporation, organization, and they have a lot of people working with them. Like for example, today, I was speaking with a PMI, someone very highly ranked, at PMI in France. Then a manager working with that person in France who is sitting in Lebanon, and also with someone in PMI United States trying to solve the issue, the problem with people not being able to book their exams because there are no available dates in certain countries, in certain regions. So I was having these calls today, trying to find a solution, and PMI was so cooperative. But back to the point, why are they releasing a new PMBOK every 4 to 5 years? Is it about the money? I don't care if it's about the money or not, but I know it's about something else. Abalu, you might want to support me in this, whether, by whatever you think is correct. Project management is evolving, guys. Really, I'm serious.
Yes.
It's evolving. If it was not evolving, people wouldn't care, we would be still working with PMBOK, which was released in 1996. PMBOK 1, 1996. Project management is evolving, technology is evolving, markets are evolving, products are evolving, needs are evolving, people are changing their attitudes, their needs, organizations are maturing, more and more organizations now need project management, etc. So we definitely need to really adapt project management and evolve it. We cannot, in 2025, work with the same project management from 1960, for example. So is project management evolving? Yes. Is it impacting the way we lead projects? Yes. Is it impacting leadership skills? Yes. Because society is modernizing, we need to have more up-to-date and more straightforward and effective or efficient, let's say, efficient skills. So I try to answer your question, Reshlan, but definitely Apalu here will add something. Now the question is no more, is project management evolving? Because that's already given, that's already known. The question is, what can we do as project management practitioners or project management professionals? I prefer practitioners. As project management practitioners, what can we do now to make sure that the way we manage projects evolves as well with these changes? Because I know people in 2025 managing projects like in 1995, Daniel Abalo. Really?
100%. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. So, Ahmed, I'm 100% in line with what you said. I just want to emphasize on one thing. You remember, Ahmed, I think at some point you even asked me, why don't you instruct or even publish in English, right?
Yeah.
And I told you that my observation was, when we talk about project management, especially in Africa, even around the world, if you want to pass PMP and you go on YouTube, wherever, searching for the topic, there were almost empty information around project management in French. So I said, okay, I'm going to take it. I will do that. And I start publishing in French, writing everything in French, making videos in French. And now, as I know, my channel grew from, within a year, I'm around 98,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Because people are hungry for information. And I think, what can we do to contribute? At your own level, you can always do something to help someone. Be nice to the junior coming to the professions.
Yes.
Manage your project well so that it inspires someone else. Whatever, as someone said, if it is worth doing, do it well, right? I mean, the rest, there's nothing you can do. If someone doesn't want to do something, you can't do much. Even having this podcast where we share our thought, it's a great way of contributing. And you even sitting, listening, you are also contributing. Because when we see that you enjoy the topic, then we are coming like, okay, let's find some other topic, and then it will impact someone. And by the time we know, it goes here and there. And personally, I'm from Africa, and I think I start to believe that the great contribution I could bring to my continent is really by making the knowledge available as much as possible. So this has become nowadays my mission. I will not be a politician to be running a country. Even sometimes, if even you are president, you will be very useless because things are quite complex. You might not change, but from where I'm standing as an educator, the more people I educate about project knowledge, then the better they do in the field. And by the time this is how everyone starts doing well, and things goes, and we keep iterating and iterating and iterating. So that's my take on this question, right?
Yeah. Thank you for that. So now a hot point everyone is asking about AI and PMO. Well, PMO not everyone is talking about, even though, guys, something new in PMBOK 8, PMO now is an entire appendix. Okay, we've always had PMO in the PMBOK. We've always had questions about PMO, PMO's role, PMO's involvement in projects, abiding by PMO's structure, guidelines, etc. We always had them. For 20 years, 25 years, we had them. However, PMO now is a new whole appendix in the PMBOK 8. Well, partially because PMI recently bought the PMO Global Alliance, Abalo. Okay. And now this PMO certification now is started becoming in demand. The PMI PMOCP certified professional. I personally will host a free PMO training in December, 10 hours of free PMO training on 3 sessions live. And we will share that. We announced that, but we will share the links publicly. However, now there are 2 new appendices. We need to talk about them, Abalu. AI, which probably is what PMI now calls technical ways of working. We used to have ways of working in the talent triangle. I saw the technical ways of working, and I figured, okay, does that mean AI? Does that mean technology, technical ways of working? So let's start with the appendix about AI, then we will talk about PMO. So AI, everyone's talking about. Now, the past 3 years exactly, since November 2022, when ChatGPT 3 was released, okay, even though ChatGPT was already, they were working on it since 2016, 2017, even earlier, but only in 2022, November, it was released. So it's exactly 3 years now. Then suddenly everyone's talking AI. Now, even my father, almost 70-year-old man, he's talking about AI, Daniel. He's really talking about AI. Everyone's talking about AI. So we project managers, we use AI a lot. Honestly, I am a very human-centered person, like Daniel. I know Daniel's mindset. We're very human-centered people, okay? But there are tasks I always wished if AI could do it instead of me. Taking notes, tracking the progress, making sure I have the exact and right percentage of this task completion, this task completion, and this task completion, and then this milestone completion, okay? Maybe automating the meeting minutes, sending the meeting minutes, maybe. Sometimes I wish my risk register, my stakeholder register, my issue log, my action log, I sometimes wish they were updated automatically so I wouldn't forget about them, because if you forget about them, it's really a nightmare for you as a project manager. And I would just take care of all the things that need me as a human. Calming an angry customer, an angry stakeholder, making a team member feel good, resolve a conflict, bringing people together, clarifying visions, agreeing, on how to put a strategy, how to achieve it, etc. So, to which depth or width or extent, Abalu, do you think AI will exist in the PMBOK 8 and also in the PMP exam, the new version?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not in PMI. I don't know what they are cooking. But in general, to me, I think there is an echo again from, I'm not sure from where. There's some cracks between, or maybe I will, yeah. So, yeah, in general, I would say AI to me is just an extra tool. And I'll give you an example, right? I have a platform teaching PMP. Ahmed, you and I, we share even some questions together, right?
Yeah.
That we use to prepare the student. So when AI came out, I made a huge mistake. I created my new framework, which I call Barracuda. It's a framework for cracking PMP exam. It's a strategic framework or tactical framework to really analyze a question quickly and find an answer. So I create this framework, and of course, with the AI, I thought I would go faster, right? So I got someone who's not really related to project management. I write a prompt which I kind of iterate hundreds of times. So this prompt should be like, clean. So I hand over this prompt to this my younger brother to use the prompt and start interpreting my questions, right? By the time we know, AI starts producing crazy stuff. Now I have a nightmare because I have students coming back like, oh, this question, the explanation doesn't really match with the question. And you look at it and you say, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. So my task right now, after the global summit, is to spend 3 to 4 weeks clean up manually. Sorry, I'm not going to use AI. Like, I can use him to format something quite quick, but I need to analyze every single question personally and move. So again, AI is a tool, just like a knife, just like just like money, just like anything else. If you know your game, it is a booster. But don't expect AI to solve things for you. First, as someone said, before you start using AI, make sure your brain is correct. Like, make sure you use your brain, and then you ask AI to move forward. So I'm also curious to see what kind of AI integration PMI intend to do in PMP questions. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense saying that what are the inputs, tools and technique, and outputs for creating a project charter. I could see AI within the techniques or the tools, or I could just see it being named there, just
Honestly,
like, okay,
Abelo, I'm
AI,
sorry to interrupt
right?
you. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I personally, as a project manager for almost 2 decades, I would never want AI to touch my project charter. AI can help me with planning, with my plan, with my sub plans, with my project management plan, maybe, but don't touch my project charter, because my project charter is the link between me and the sponsor and the stakeholders, and that's how I translate the business case into an actionable item, which is the project, starting with the project charter and link it to the organization vision. I don't want AI to touch my project charter at all.
Actually, he could do a good job if you have old template and new information. Tell him, take this new information and put it in the template. He can give you a good draft, and you add your own knowledge to go faster, because sometimes copying and pasting takes time, right? So in this way, I just see it as a tool, right? It doesn't help. Look, when you have two people arguing, okay, yesterday I made a very nasty comment on someone publication on LinkedIn. My actual writing was very, very nasty. So I knew that this going to make shockwave. So I copied whatever I wrote and I gave it to the AI, make it much more diplomatic. Even even though he made it diplomatic, it was still very nasty comment, right? Because this is a guy discouraging people to study PMP, saying that the price doesn't make sense. And I asked him, and why did you go to school? Like, why? Like, it is. I mean, asking people not to study something because you find it useless. I mean, this is. I was out of my chair. I was like, no, you can't just let this slip, right? So I wrote few things. Like, first of all, how do you expect someone who was technical getting into management world to know what to do, the best way to react when he doesn't study the theory, right? So you need to study the theory to understand what they talk about, and then you will apply. Of course, the reality happens on the ground. But how do you? I remember why I took PGMP. certification. I didn't take PGMP certification because I wanted to add another certification. I was in the middle of programs. Sometimes I was lost. Like, you trying to do your best effort as it's like you try your best.
Yeah.
Once I started studying PGMP, I was like, oh, gee, wow. So I was actually applying the best practice on my real program, and I could see the real progress that, okay, even sometimes I was the main problem, not even anyone else, right? So things like that. So this is how theory helps the practice. But someone should not study the theory and then sit like, go and cross the arms and saying, I'm a project manager. And discouraging people to study theory is madness, right? So back to the topic. I mean, to me, AI is just a tool. So guys, go and learn project management. Talk to people. Be nice to people. Talk to them. Resolve conflict. It's emotional. It's about word. Word can hurt. Word can kill. Word can destroy. Word can empower people. Word can make them feel like kings. If my mom used to, I'm telling this to my student all the time. My mom used to tell me, everyone likes good things. And why she was telling me that? When I was a teenager, I always wanted money from her. I would come to her, Mom, I need money. I want to go out. I need money. I want to. And when I get the money, I'm just out. I'm going. And one day she called me and she said, look, I know you get your money, but what is my benefit in this? Giving you money. Even sometimes we had an argument. She was like, you are disturbing me. I was very, very, a bit crazy. So I told her, look, I didn't ask you to make me, you and your boyfriend or husband, you decide to make this. So I need money to go out. I need the money to go out. So one day she sat and told me, look, you have the money. Are you happy? And I said, yes. Okay. Do you know that I'm a human being? And I said, oh, of course. So everyone likes good things. You get the money, you are happy. Can you make me happy? Then I ask her, what makes you happy? And she just tell me, thank you. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I told her, saying, thank you. And she said, I'm happy. Now you can go. And since then, this speaks to me. I mean, you get help. Someone helps you because you've been nice to them. Don't look down on anyone. Don't look up to anyone. This is real project management, because at the end of the day, you as a project manager, you don't do shit, right? Like you are in the middle of bunch of people doing things. Your job is to coordinate them. They are happy to do things, proactively take actions, inform you about upcoming risks. You are there, and so you can't just be grumpy or bossy or whatever and expect people to do magic. So I mean, and AI can help you, document few things faster or soften your emails and stuff like that, or even produce something faster. But that's it. I don't see AI having any changing PMP. I mean, adapt. Don't say, because I'm saying this, I'll say, okay, he said AI is not going to change, so I'm not going to study AI. I'm preparing right now my CPMAI certification because I want to understand what it is. I want to really deep understand AI so I can leverage on that. I don't want to be AI illiterate. So don't be also AI illiterate. Learn and progress.
Yeah. Daniel, I think you're not big friends of AI. Do you like AI?
No. Like, I've just listened to him. I feel like we would have been great friends at work, man. I'm in those. Like, I am very much about the human and project magic, because people deliver projects, not tools. Not like, at the end of the day, it's nice to have all those tools and all that stuff, but it's a people. And I could not agree with you more. The real project magic is really in the trenches, right? And I'm happy to give up some of the nonsensical time-wasting stuff, like updating the risk register, doing my emails. Like, please, again, take that off my plate. That gives me, another 3 hours a day or a week to have my have my one-on-ones at my team, speak to my sponsor, speak to my client. Maybe I have 3 or 4 more projects coming in the pipeline. Now I can maybe go talk to some of those people about that. So to me, AI is certainly a great tool in some instances. At least I can see, I've read probably everything under the sun. It's certainly not, it can't build trust. It can't calm a stakeholder. It can't hold a team member's hand when, God forbid, their husband dies, but you still have to deliver a project.
Yes.
And you need to get them off the couch to help you deliver that project. Like it can't do those things, at least not today anyway. But yeah, like AI is certainly going to change the game. And with the PMBOK 8 and the certification coming around, AI is getting so much bigger. It's certainly a point to me. I've been around, way along, just like you guys. I was here before the internet was a thing. I used to use dial-up. There became like a fork in the road in our industry and others. I feel like we're at this place now. And if you're not AI knowledgeable, like you were just mentioning, but also if you're not enhancing your people management skills, you're going to go like this. And when you're standing on the floor in front of 300 people looking to get a job, you're not going to be the one that gets the job, because you need to know that stuff. You need to be a great project manager, but you also need to be a great project leader, someone that's able to interact with people, get them to do what you want, build great relationships, do exactly what you said. Just be nice to people. I see people at work sometimes and they just don't do this. And then meanwhile, I'm, doing all those things you just mentioned, I'm succeeding and they're not. Like at the end of the day, people just want to be listened to. They want to be heard. They want their input valued. And just doing those simple 3 or 4 minute things changes the way projects open up to me all the time. And since I've done that 5-10 years ago and just made that my mission at work, it's changed the success rate on my project probably from 30-40% to like 80-90%. Of course, there's always these other variables you can't control, but it is the difference maker. But again, you cannot get away from AI. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Every day it feels like it gets better. There's more tools coming out. But like you said, they're just tools. You can't master all of them. Learn the basics, understand how it could work in your project, how it affects your team, how it affects the business, how you can potentially leverage some of those tools depending on where you work and how you work. But at the end of the day, that's not your job. Your job is to not manage AI tools. They're just tools at the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. I really agree. Abalu, you want to say something, Abalu?
No, I just want to say 101% agree and in line with Daniel.
Yeah, guys, I definitely want to give the same advice. Don't outsource your work to AI.
Yeah.
Look, it's called outsource. It means you're giving up on your role as a project manager. You're handing it over to AI. Hello, AI. So now you become the project manager, and AI would ask me, okay, you, Ahmed, so what you going to do? I'm going to sip some coffee with the stakeholders. Don't do that. Please, guys, don't outsource your work to AI. AI is like your 4 wheels. You're the car. See, whenever we're buying a car, we don't really look at the wheels. We look at the shape of the car, the silhouette, the interior, the electronics, the steering wheel, the touchpad on the car, the engine. The engine is your brain. The steering wheel is your knowledge. The touchpad, all of the stuff inside is you. AI are those wheels. Maybe some couple of electronics inside. Please don't outsource your work to AI, because I'm seeing a lot of posts online on LinkedIn. People saying, AI now can do this. You should use your AI. You must. Yeah, we have to integrate AI in certain aspects, but not in everything. That's one thing. We still have to do a lot of work ourselves, like some planning we have to do it by ourselves, some adjustments we have to do it because AI can make mistakes. Even OpenAI, it says ChatGPT can make mistakes.
Yeah, it says it right on there.
Yeah. So it will make mistakes. I was testing AI. I have we all have Perplexity, ChatGPT 5. Sometimes I ask them a simple thing to test them, and they make crazy mistakes.
Yeah,
okay?
crazy mistakes.
They can never be as analytical as you in certain areas. I'm going to answer a couple of questions before we move on to the last point. We want to discuss Abalu and Daniel. There is this Mahmoud Salman is asking regarding taking the PMP exam in different languages. Well, if you're going to take it in Arabic, Mahmoud, you have to take the training in Arabic, because when you study in Arabic, you get the technical terms in Arabic. You see, I speak Arabic, but when I saw the content for PMP training in Arabic, many terms, I could not understand. They're so different from the Arabic we use every day. The same in French. the same in German, the same in Chinese, okay? Because the original language is English. All the questions are translated from English to Arabic in specific language, okay? And there is another question from Jihad Sadiq, okay? He's asking about CAPM certification. How can we ensure it will be up to date after the release of the PMBOK 8? Well, usually PMI, it updates when it releases the PMBOK, and then it starts updating the ECOs. Definitely it will start with the PMP, but also the CAPM will follow. So CAPM exam doesn't change until a new ECO for the CAPM is released. Okay. Now there are really good comments from guys here, on the chat. I really love that, guys. Thank you so much for writing all of these. Probably Daniel will pick a couple of more comments for later. Now about PMO, Abalo. Strategically, I use now for the first time strategically. Why did PMI put in a separate appendix this time?
Well, I think the obvious reason is there is a whole book and a whole certification around it. So you don't want to overload and overwhelm people. And by the way, for example, in the PMBOK, we are talking about 3 types of PMOs, because it's just like basics to understand. However, when you study the PMO certification, you see that there are a lot of things that need to be taken care of. So they just want to leave that to specialists. And this is just like generic and general information they want to, drag your attention. And I think it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. So the last acquisition, or the latest acquisition PMI made for the PMO Global Alliance, and there is the PMO standard or guide, PMO guide. PMO guide, guys, you can find it on PMI's website. I have shared the link a few weeks ago. We will share the link again in our free PMO training we will have in December. We also had Americo Pinto in our podcast, Abalo. It was a great session with Americo. He's such a nice guy, such a caring guy, and I can see him so active on LinkedIn, commenting on people's posts, reacting to their contributions. Maybe it's him, maybe it's his team, but at least even if it's his team, he's instructing them to do it. Because let me tell you this, guys, I'm gonna give you a secret from what Abalo and I, or from where Abalo and I worked. When we were working at IBM at the time in 2007, when I joined IBM in 2007, it was the second most valuable brand in the world. Now, for example, NVIDIA probably is the most valuable brand, or by market cap. It's quite close. But in 2007, Google was the most valuable brand. IBM was second. At the time, IBM was extremely organized in project management. We have not just PMO, not really advanced PMO, we're structured and organized PMO. We even have Center of Excellence of Project Management, which was preparing and organizing everything for us, what we need as project managers: tools, templates, practices, e-learnings, coaching, training, mentoring, you name it. Everything that can come on, to your mind from the project management world, PMI was providing us with that. However, when I was moving around other companies as a consultant, as an employee, not all companies were mature enough in terms of PMO. And actually, it's only until recently, probably past few years, that many companies started realizing the importance of having a project management office, having project management as a profession, as a discipline, as a role, as a contract, as a project manager, because most companies were this mix. If we talk about the types of organizations, there is the functional, the projectized, and the matrix. And most companies were in matrix, either weak or balanced. Okay, few of them were strong matrix, and really less than few were projectized, fully projectized organizations. I'm talking worldwide, Abalo. So it makes absolute sense, to have the PMO as an appendix and to highlight the importance of it. Probably there will be more emphasis on the PMO as a service delivery entity now. Abalo, see, Daniel is certified in both PMO certifications offered by PMI. He's done that. Good job, Daniel. He's got the sorry?
Me too.
Yeah. Yes. I know. So actually, there is a little more emphasis on PMO as a service delivery, a whole separate entity which could cope with operations, projects, needs coming from different areas. So it makes absolute sense. Okay. So almost 10 minutes left. Probably Daniel will pick a couple of comments we wanna share. Abalu, should people be worried about the next version of the PMP exam? Do you think that they should be worried? Is it going to be entertaining and easy as this one compared to the?
I think yes. I mean, if you see, even within PMI, there is a very interesting topic that is going on now: project success. Right?
Yeah.
We know from past, or at least from past studies, project success was like, okay, on time, on budget, and so on, right? Which doesn't really make sense. I'm giving this example to my student. Let's say you want to build a new house, and you got this house will cost you $500,000, let's say, and this the provider told you it will finish within half a year or a year.
Yeah.
So then this project got delayed to 2 years. However, with the house cost you now maybe 700,000 US dollars. However, the technology has advanced in the world. The flooring system has improved. Many other things have improved. In the meantime, you had a second child, which you didn't plan. Now you have time to even make a second room. Your project finished delayed, over budget. Is this project successful or failure? Right? So if you look at it with the old lens, you say, oh, it's a failure because you didn't finish on time, on budget, and so on. If you look at it as a value, you will be even very happy this project has been delayed so you can buy the new technology within your house rather than building a house which finished within a half a year or a year with old technology who just got replaced, right? So these are the topics that PMI is reframing, and I believe that the new exam going on would still be interesting. I mean, they are always trying to make it reflect the reality. That's why they are coming for you guys watching. Don't sit when they publish and don't sit looking at it from far, and then when it change and say, oh, but this. Come, get your hands dirty. They listen to you. My comment, if you look at the PMI publication, my name is all over there. Why? Because I look at things and I say what I think will make sense. They don't always take all my comments, but yes, some of them are there, right? So contribute. And I mean, it makes sense. So we will have collective intelligence producing something meaningful to everyone. That's my take. So people should not worry about the exam. PMI goal is not to make you fail, and also it's not to certify you anyhow, right? I see also on internet people making comments. PMP now is not valuable. It's not. This is bullshit. Ahmed can share his story. Ahmed told me, we had one podcast, I don't know, a few years back. He told me when he got his PMP, he multiplied his salary by 10. I did mine by 3. I was even shocked, right? This is even that side, but it has incredible benefits, even just on your own ego, by the fact that knowing like, okay, I'm certified, going into that interview room and saying like, yeah, but we look for someone certified, and you say, oh, okay, I did it. Just this fact. In fact, PMP, especially if you study with me, you will see that you will be transformed, because it depends how you even take this knowledge. It's a transformation. There is one book I'm always recommending to my students, and they love. I don't know where I put it. The book is called Surrounded by Idiots. I don't know if you know this book.
Which one?
Surrounded by Idiots.
I heard of it.
Yeah, you should read it, right? So it is about people. So when I read this book, I realized that most of the time I was the problem because I want things fast, I want things, and I didn't understand those people who were slow, right? But in fact, we are just different people with different perspectives. So your leadership as a project manager or project leader is your capacity of working with everyone. Even if Albert Einstein said it, if you will judge the fish by its ability to run, you will always find it stupid. And this is what we do on the workplace every day. We look at someone not able to draw you some nice stuff, and then you say, hey, he's stupid. But give him something he knows, and you see, you will be amazed, right? So tell me, if you don't know that people are different, how do you expect even to manage them? It's impossible. For me, I was like, yeah, I'm a programmer. You must be the most smart guy, So if someone doesn't understand algorithmic, I feel like this is stupid. But the guy can write something which you can't even write. I'm telling people, I even don't know how to change oil in my car, right? So if my car broken down now and they ask me to change the oil, I don't know. Am I stupid? No. I simply don't know how to change the car. You go to a mechanic, probably if you give him a mathematical equation to solve, he cannot solve it, but he will fix your car. So who's smart and who's intelligent? So, I mean, this is, by the way, this is my topic, my speech on in Phoenix in few days at Global Summit, our sixth intelligence, how smart project leaders become successful. It's not about knowing how to talk about mathematics or how to talk about project. We are all ignorant, but not with the same thing. Yeah.
I like that topic. I think Daniel would love it too. Having a sixth sense.
Yeah, no, that's right up my alley. And again, I'm so glad that we finally are meeting. And yeah, Ahmed talked about you so much, and I feel like we would have been fast friends a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. All right. I think that's almost it. I think we have answered Daniel. I think, did you answer most of the questions?
Yeah, they're mostly comments talking about AI, agreeing with what we all said. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right. Guys, everyone watching, we really hope you liked this session. We did our best, really, with my colleague Daniel Abalo. Thank you so much. Really, it's a pleasure talking to you again, having you on our podcast. Definitely, it was very insightful to share a lot of knowledge and ideas with people. Everyone watching, so you definitely will get more and more updates from us as we hear them, whether on PMBOK 8, whether on PMP exam, whether on project management. And let me say one last thing, guys, project management is evolving. Sometimes we follow the pace of PMI. Sometimes we have our own pace. Sometimes you also come up with our own stuff because, it contributes to the project management community, to the project management knowledge. There are a lot of great people out there practicing project management. Yesterday I saw a post from one guy who said, I'm so angry with companies. This guy is a project manager, and he shared this on LinkedIn. He said he's so angry with companies who hire only PMP certified project managers, as if only PMP certified people are the only one qualified. And actually, no. Many people are qualified as project managers, even not being certified. It's just the certification gives you structure. And he said, well, PMP is all about theory, not with the new model of PMP. No, the current version is all situational or practice-based. Earlier in the afternoon, today in the afternoon, I shared my view on that. I posted the post as a reply to that guy who I respect so much, and I salute him from this chair. Okay, and I even shared 50 questions from very similar to the PMP exam, so people can see what kind of questions they can expect in the PMP exam, so they know it's really practical. Go to the post which I shared in the afternoon with 50 questions. Guys, those 50 questions will help you understand what the PMP exam is about partially, and read the post. I really shared my view, how PMP is not theoretical, it's hands-on practice. And remember, one last thing, you can be a good project manager. Yes, Abalo, I'll let you have it.
No, please. I just wanted to jump on your comment. The one saying that they are hiring only PMPs, I just want to tell him, even he's doing the same thing himself. Because when he wants to buy something, he will not go to the restaurant which doesn't fulfill some paperwork. Because PMP is when people don't know you, right? You might be very qualified and your current employer knows you. They know you are very good. So if you plan to retire in your current company, then you don't need PMP. But
Yes.
if you are open for market, because how can I know that you know what I need, right? Like, that
Exactly.
was my comment. Yeah. So yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, everyone watching. 90 minutes up. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Abalu. See you around, guys.
My pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.